What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video on my channel Skotrix, and today as you can see we are back not on NBA 2K22 but instead we're going to be back on this tier chart, and in today's video we are going to be ranking the best playmaking badges in NBA 2K22 current gen and next gen. I'm going to be putting both of them together since all of the badges are the same this year. It just makes it a lot easier to do both gens together, and this video is also going to be covering all the best playmaking badges for every single build. So I'll talk about which badges are good for which build, and I'll give an explanation of why I'm putting each badge where I'm putting it on this tier chart. And speaking of the tier chart, I'm going to be putting 4 badges in each tier right here. So 4 badges for each of the 5 tiers. That's 20 badges. That will cover every playmaking badge in NBA 2K22. And just because I put a badge in a lower tier like B or C does not mean it's a bad badge, just because there really aren't too many bad playmaking badges this year, and each badge, some are good for some builds, some are good for other builds, and I'll try to describe which badge is good for each build and why I'm putting it where I'm putting it as I go through the tier list. But keep that in mind. And the last thing I want to mention before I get right into the video right here is yesterday I did the best finishing and shooting badges. Today I'm doing playmaking, and later I will do defense as well later today. So make sure you stay tuned for that video as well. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss that. But yeah, with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get right into the video here. Alright, so the first badge we're going to be going into is going to be Unpluckable, and I'm going to put Unpluckable all the way up into the S tier. I think this is one of the best badges in the game for sure. If you have basically any build of dribbles, you're going to want to get Unpluckable. Obviously, super good badge, just like it has been in years previous. You're definitely going to want that as one of your first badges for pretty much any build, especially a primary ball handler. And next up right here, we have Triple Threat Juke. I'm going to put Triple Threat Juke into the C category. This badge is slightly better than I thought it was going to be when I first saw it and read the description for it, but it's still not amazing. You will get some animations sometimes where you freeze a defender, so if you're somebody who is in the triple threat a lot, and especially if you're a slasher, this might be a badge that you want to consider getting. Otherwise, you could probably ignore it, but it is decent. That's why I'm putting it in the C category right here for slashers who come out of the triple threat. And next up right here we have Tight Handles, and I'm going to put Tight Handles up 1 into the B category right here. This is a pretty mid-tier badge. It's not the best dribbling badge, but if you're a guard that plays on ball and you have a ton of playmaking badges, Tight Handles is definitely one of those badges that you can consider getting. It will break down your defenders better when you're doing size up moves. So if you do a lot of size ups, or if you're a primary ball handler, you can consider getting Tight Handles. If you're not a primary ball handler, you can definitely ignore it. Next up right here we have Stop and Go. Stop and Go is going straight into the D category. I don't think this badge is good. I know there's probably going to be some controversy about me putting it down here, but I just prefer the animations for stopping and going that you get from being a default without having this badge than the stop and go animations you get with this badge. I just think they're better, and I don't really see the point of this badge. I wouldn't put it on under any circumstances. Quick First Step is such a better badge, and this badge just really isn't that good. But next up right here we have Special Delivery. I'm putting Special Delivery into the C category. This badge is pretty self-explanatory. You should probably know if you need it or not. If you throw a lot of lobs or a lot of flashy passes, you can definitely consider putting on Special Delivery because it will help those go through a lot more successfully. But if you're not a player that makes those type of passes, you can definitely ignore this badge because it really won't do anything for you. So that's Special Delivery. You should know if you need that one. And next up right here we have Space Creator, and this one's going to be super controversial, but I'm also going to put Space Creator into the D category. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but it's like the 7th best dribbling badge. If you have a good build that's good at dribbling, there's so many better badges to invest in rather than Space Creator. The only thing it's really good for is like pure shot creators. So once you get that shot creator takeover, you can easily take ankles by doing the step back move. But otherwise, it's just there's so many better dribbling badges than Space Creator that you really don't need it. It doesn't help with any dribbling except for that kind of step back, jump back sort of move. So if you do that a lot, you can consider putting it on. But a lot of players don't do that in current gen or next gen. It's not the best move. It's okay, but it's not the best move unless maybe you're a pure shot creator. So that's why I'm putting Space Creator in the D category. Again, not really too many bad playmaking badges this year, so it doesn't mean it's a terrible badge. I just don't think that 99% of builds will need Space Creator. And obviously if you're a big man, you definitely don't need it. But hopefully that makes sense. Next up right here we have Quick First Step. Quick First Step, definitely an S tier badge. If you're an on-ball player, if you're any sort of guard, definitely get Quick First Step. It's a super good badge, and you'll definitely need it. Not really too much I can say about it. Good for pretty much every build, especially builds that are guards or big men that are slashers. And next up right here we have Quick Chain, and I'm also going to put Quick Chain all the way up into the S category right here. I recommend this badge for basically every single guard build, whether you're on ball or off ball, because off ball guards still have to dribble sometimes. And Quick Chain obviously really helps speed up your dribble combos, and it's just essential for any guard build. If you're a guard, you need Quick Chain. If you're a big man, you probably don't even have the option to get it, and you probably won't need it unless you're maybe like a stretch playmaker or something like that. But quick chain, definitely an important badge for any guard. And next up right here, we have post playmaker. I'm going to put post playmaker up into the A category. I think this is a super good badge this year. I definitely recommend it for any big man, anybody who can get offensive rebounds or can pass out of the post. This is a super good badge. I've been using it on my power forward in next gen, and I don't know, maybe my guards that I play with are just good, but I think after an offensive rebound or after I'm in the post, if I pass to a guard, I don't think I've ever seen them miss with me having this badge on. So I don't know, maybe it's my guards or maybe this badge is just super goated, but either way, it's definitely a good badge and you're definitely going to want to get it if you're a big man that can either get rebounds or works out in the post. Post playmaker is basically your dimer and you're for sure going to want it. But next up right here, we have needle threader, and needle threader is kind of a tough one to rank, but I'm going to put it into the B category. This could be a badge that you're definitely going to want to get, or it could also be a badge that you can probably ignore. Depends on what type of games you're playing. If you're playing against the AI, you're definitely not going to need this, and if the only time you really will need this is if you're playing against high skill players, because lower skill players don't usually work too good in the passing lanes. They're not really too good at getting on or off ball steals, I mean, so you probably won't need needle threader unless you're playing in like the anti-up or you're playing really good park players. Otherwise, you could probably ignore it. For 90% of games, it won't come in any handy. And next up right here, we have Hyper Drive. I'm going to put Hyper Drive into the C category. This might get some controversy as well. I think some people might think this badge is better than it is, but it really is a pretty mid-tier badge. I would maybe recommend it if you're an on-ball player, like you're just an on-ball guard. If you're an off-ball player, you definitely don't need it. And if you're playing in the rec, you might want to consider getting this build. But in the park and in my career, you can probably ignore Hyper Drive. You probably won't need it for most builds. And next up right here, we got handles for days, and handles for days will be the last badge to go into the S category. Super good badge right here. If you're a guard, you're definitely going to want handles for days. If you're any sort of build that dribbles, you're definitely going to want handles for days. It's just super good. If you don't have this, you're going to be running out of stamina way too fast and you won't be able to do any significant dribble moves. So definitely get handles for days for any guard. And next up right here, we have glue hands. Glue hands is going into the C category. Just like triple threat juke, this badge is better than I thought it would be. It does help you when you catch the ball. You can do stuff faster. So if you're a slasher and you catch the ball on the perimeter, you can get into your slashing move faster and get going to the rim faster. And I think that's really the primary use of this badge. The actual glue hands that makes it easier to catch passes really isn't too good. I think it's just the ability to get into your moves faster after catching the ball that makes this badge decent and considerable for some builds, especially if you're like an off-ball slasher, like some sort of paint beast or glass cleaning finisher or something like that, or a two-way finisher, anything like that, or even a catch and shoot player that has a lot of playmaking badges. You could definitely consider getting glue hands on. But next up right here, we have floor general. I'm putting floor general into the B category. This is a decent badge if you're playing the rec or something. You're definitely going to want it because it will help out your teammates a lot. If you have a lot of badges, you can also put this on in the park. Probably not too important for 2v2, but maybe for 3v3. And one more thing is that you'll only need one player on the court to have this, since it does not stack the boosts, the attribute boost. So if you get floor general, only one person on your team needs to get it, and usually it will be the player with the most playmaking badges, or if there's an off-ball player with a lot of playmaking badges, they could also get it. And next up right here, we have downhill, and I'm actually going to put downhill all the way up into the A category. This is one of the most underrated badges in the game for like the third year in a row. If you're a big man who can get rebounds and has decent speed, like really any sort of big man that's not like 7 feet tall and just really slow, you definitely want downhill. You can grab the ball and just start running in transition like how Giannis or Ben Simmons would do it in real life, and you can find so many plays and so many opportunities to score by doing that. It's just, this is such a good badge. It's so good for any big man build that has some rebound and some speed, or some ball handle or whatever, speed with ball. You're definitely going to want downhill because you'll even be outrunning guards when you have this badge on after a rebound. You're going to be able to get down the floor so quick, and you'll find so many fast break opportunities to score. And next up right here, we have Dimer. I'm also going to put Dimer into the A category. Super good badge if you're a on-ball player who makes a lot of passes, gets a lot of assists. You're definitely going to want to get Dimer, help out your teammates, be a good teammate, and put on Dimer. It's a super good badge. If you're a big man, you probably won't even have the option to get it, so you won't need it. But most guard builds, you're definitely going to want to have Dimer because it is a super good badge. And if you're a big man who has a lot of playmaking and can get Dimer, you could also consider getting it for sure. And next up right here, we have Bullet Passer. I'm also going to put Bullet Passer into the A category. Super good badge for any build super important. Obviously, getting passes off your hands and into your teammates' hands as fast as possible is super important in this game. It gives the defenders less time to close out or less time to get into position, so super good badge. You're definitely going to want it for basically any build. Bullet Passer is definitely an A tier badge. And next up right here we have Break Starter. I'm putting Break Starter into the D category. You really should not need this badge unless you have like a 25 pass accuracy and you just cannot make passes, but you probably won't have the playmaking badges to get Break Starter even if you do have a 25 pass accuracy. So really there's no point in putting this badge on. If you have a high enough pass accuracy to get this badge, you're going to be able to make the full court passes 9 times out of 10 anyways. So Break Starter, really not too good unless you have absolutely nothing else to put it on, or unless you find that your break starting passes are going out of bounds a lot or not getting to the person you're trying to pass to a lot, then you could consider it. Also, maybe in the rec, if you're a big man, you could consider it, but not really in the park or any other mode. And yeah, next up right here, we have Bailout. And Bailout, similar to Break Starter, same kind of thing. If you have a high enough pass accuracy to get Bailout, you probably won't need it in the first place. It's not too hard to make Bailout passes this year, even if you have like a 60 pass accuracy. So most builds that are at least decent really should not need this build. If you find that your Bailout passes are going out of bounds a lot though, or you find that you bail out a lot for whatever reason, then you could consider getting it, but most builds will not need Bailout. And the last badge we have right here is going to be Ankle Breaker, and I'm going to put Ankle Breaker into the B category. Decent badge, not amazing, not terrible, but the reason it's going into the B category is because it is a super fun badge to play with, but it's not super practical. You're not going to need to be breaking ankles to win games most of the time. It's more of just a fun badge to play with and get clips with, and if you use it in unison with your takeover, your ankle breaking takeover, you're going to be taking ankles all day. Super good badge for that. But for most builds and most setups, you won't need Ankle Breaker, but you probably want to put it on for fun anyways. So yeah, that's going to be all the best playmaking badges in NBA 2K22 current gen and next gen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Only 2% of people who watch my videos are actually subbed to my channel. So if you click that subscribe button right now, you can join the 2% gang. I really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And also I stream on Twitch. My Twitch link will be down in the description below. Make sure you go follow me over there if you enjoy watching live streams. And like I said at the start of the video, defense badges coming out later today, the defense badging tier list, and shooting and finishing were already out yesterday. So make sure you go check all those out as well. But yeah, that's going to be it. All right. Peace.